Chairman of the House Select Committee confirming that they will send notices to multiple telecommunications companies requesting that they preserve the phone records of several people, including some members of Congress. CNN national security analyst Juliette Kayyem joins me. She is a former Department of Homeland Security official and senior legal analyst Ellie Honig joins us as well. Good evening to both of you. Good to see you. Ellie, you're up first. So you say that this is a crucial step in the January 6th investigation. How is this going to help the committee get to the bottom of what happened that day?
Yeah, Don, this is absolutely essential information, just so people understand what these records actually look like. What they show is what cell phone number called to what other number, when, and for how long. And I think investigators need to look for two specific things here. One, was there contact between members of Congress or their staff and the people who actually rioted on January 6th in the days and hours leading up to that? If so, they need to follow up. What were you talking about? Why? Number two, were there communications between Congress and the staff and the White House? We need to know who was talking to who in the White House. We know McCarthy, we know Jim Jordan were in contact with Donald Trump. How many times? Who else? And that will give Congress a roadmap on how they answer the most important questions in this investigation.
Juliette, we're told that the committee is looking to get phone and email records from several hundred people, including members of Congress. Why so many people? I mean, what do you think they're looking for, investigators here?
So it's exactly as Ellie said, what calls were coming in and what were going out and when. And so what's key here is not just for a legal case. Remember, this is not a legal proceeding. This is a commission to determine sort of a narrative of what happened. And in this instance, it is what was the extent of the conspiracy, and was it as big as the 600 or 700 or 800 that we anticipate at least were in the Capitol building at the time? If it's much smaller, then who was directing it? And then that comes to members of Congress. So part of this is just sort of what is that narrative of how we got here? A lot of us, we know what it is, right? Trump incites something that then builds to this. So they're just creating that narrative. The other is really important. This is what we've talked about before, which is we still have to worry about this threat. And one way to undermine or to dissipate a terrorism threat is to make the terrorist organization look like losers, like they can't actually function. So I really love what's going on now. Is because you cannot have a winning team because that is how terrorists recruit and raise money. And so what you're seeing now, I think, is people are going to run scared. The congressmen are going to be on defense, and I love it. I mean, that's the way you break this thing up. No recruitment, no money.
Ellie, what about let's talk the legal issues. Are there any legal issues obtaining records from members of Congress? Could they fight this?
Yeah, so they could try to fight it, Don. It's hard to do that as a third party because remember, the members of Congress are not parties to this. This is Congress telling the phone companies, hey, hold on to those records because we're going to need them. Now, Congress could try to sort of intercede, or members of Congress. A, that looks terrible, right? What are you hiding? Why are you so afraid of these records coming out? And B, it's an uphill climb. I mean, this is a congressional subpoena. Courts are generally going to honor it. That said, Congress needs to be careful here. They need to have some basis to request these records. They can't just do it willy-nilly. And if they get these records, they do need to preserve the confidentiality, except whatever's relevant to go into a report, of course.
Yeah. So, Juliette, Jim Jordan said he's got nothing to hide. But this was just him last month. Watch this.
Did you speak with President Trump on January 6th?
Yeah, I mean, I spoke with the president last week. I speak with the president all the time. I spoke with him on January 6th. I mean, I talk with President Trump all the time, and that's I don't think that's unusual. I would expect members of Congress to talk with the president of the United States when they're trying to get done the things they told the voters in their district to do. I'm actually kind of amazed sometimes that people keep asking this. But of course, I talk to the president all the time. I talked to him, like I said, I talked with him last week.
On January 6th, did you speak with him before, during, or after the Capitol was attacked?
I'd have to go. I spoke with him that day after. I think after. I don't know if I spoke with him in the morning or not. I just don't know. I'd have to go back and. I mean, I don't know that when those conversations happened. But what I know is I spoke with him all the time.
Okay, so look. I mean, so anyways, do you expect, look, He's not going to remember. Oh, the day there was a big insurrection. I don't remember exactly.
Right. And I called him after to talk policy, which Trump was wont to do throughout his presidency, right? That he called him after.
Him and Kevin McCarthy, you think they're going to be called?
Yeah, I think these phone records, they both admitted to phone conversations. And what Jim Jordan is, the trap he's gotten himself into is not just, when did he talk to Trump on January 6th? Yeah. He kept saying he consistently talked to Donald Trump. Well, that's going to be really easy to figure out. Were they actually in communication daily, twice a week? Is the last time he talked to him a month ago, 2 months before January 6th? So that he's sort of just given his hand. Look, if Jim Jordan is talking to former President Trump 20 times a day, that's going to appear in the records. So, so he's going to have to prove that.
All right, got it. Hey, Ellie, just real quick. 5 seconds, 10 seconds. If you had that person as a witness, what would you say?
I wouldn't ask him a single thing. I would just say, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you saw him. I'm done. I'm good.
Thank you both. I appreciate it. All right. So are you angry because you feel like anti-vaxxers and anti-maskers are controlling your